Good morning, everybody. Respected dignitaries, distinguished guests, delegates, and staff of NIOT. It is my great pleasure to welcome you all to the National Symposium on Acoustic Metrology and Acoustic Monitoring of the Oceans. This symposium is organized to foster knowledge sharing in the fields of underwater and air acoustics with a focus on strengthening measurement traceability and exploring innovations in acoustic metrology and passive acoustic monitoring of the oceans. We are truly honored today to have with us Padma Shri Dr. Shailesh Nayak, Director, National Institute of Advanced Studies, Bangalore, and former Secretary MOS as our chief guest, and Professor Venugopal Achanta, Director, CSIR National Physical Laboratory, Delhi, as our guest of honor to grace this occasion. I now invite our chief guest, Dr. Shailesh Nayak, guest of honor, Professor Venugopal Achanta, our director, Professor Balaji Ramakrishnan, and Dr. Lata to the dais. As a gesture of warm welcome, we would like to present bouquets to our guests. I request our director to welcome our chief guest with a bouquet. I now request Dr. Jilata to welcome our guest of honor with a bouquet. Thank you, sir and ma'am. Let us commence today's proceedings with an invocation. May I request everyone to kindly rise for the invocation.
गणनायकाय गणधीवताय गणाध्यक्षाय धीमहि गुणशरीराय गुणमण्डिताय गुणेशानाय धीमहि गुणातीताय गुणाधीशाय गुणप्रविष्टाय धीमहि एकदन्ताय वक्रतुण्डाय गौरीतनयाय धीमहि गजेशानाय बालचन्द्राय श्रीगणेशाय धीमहि एकदन्ताय वक्रतुण्डाय गौरी तनयाय धीमहि गजेशानाय बालचन्द्राय श्रीगणेशाय धीमहि श्रीगणेशाय धीमहि.
Thank you all. Light is a symbol of knowledge. To mark the formal inauguration of this symposium, I invite our dignitaries to light the traditional lamp. Thank you, sir and ma'am. I am pleased to invite our director to deliver the welcome address.
Chief guest of today's function, Padma Shri, Dr. Shailesh Nayak, Director NIOS, as well as former Secretary of our ministry. Guest of honor, Professor Venugopal Achunta, Director, National Physical Laboratory. I could see number of ex as well as in-service NIOT colleagues. I understand there are a lot of invited speakers, guests, participants from various academic as well as R&D institutions in the country. I also understand there are some globally appearing from other parts of the world online as well. Ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning to all of you. It's another interesting milestone day today as we celebrate. And we also have this workshop symposium being organized by the Ocean Acoustics Group. And when it comes to matter of acoustics, the simple definition of the acoustics is that they're nothing but sounds, something that we can hear and some certain things that we cannot hear. But still, it's physics of the sound and to some extent sense of hearing from the human perspective. Like I said before, humans can hear a certain extent and many things that I think he cannot hear. And he looks for the ways and means through which he can probably understand the sounds that he can't hear. It could be including the living as well as the non-living things, either under the water or over the land and so on. Absence of the sound, any sound for that matter, is what we call it as very quiet, or maybe what we call it as silence. And very interestingly, those can also be measured in terms of decibels. The absence of the sound, what you call as silence, still would be making some amount of sound that probably we cannot hear, but it can still be measured in terms of decibels. But with the sounds around, sounds of celebration, sounds of appreciation, sounds of applause, people are clapping for the achievements and so on, it is still possible for very few to work quietly. And only very few can probably have accomplished many professional feats, achievements, reached greater heights. Trust me, in complete silence. They don't make any noise at all. I'm sure you all would agree with me that one such has been living amongst us, Dr. Lata, in whose honor of upcoming superannuation next month, this symposium is actually organized. Even for this applause, she would be keeping quiet. But very interestingly, without a single word from her, her achievement speaks in loud voice. She can be quiet, but her achievements cannot. Her accomplishments in terms of be it as number of publications or number of PhD students, even in this kind of R&D environment, she has gained a number of PhD students. So many successful field measurement campaigns related to underwater acoustics, development of facilities, successful organization of events, and so on and so forth. It's really difficult to hide the applause and appreciation from our side. She can be quiet, but we can't be. 30 solid, strong professional years of experience. She was mentioning to the audience some other day, in one of the events that is organized in the same very room, that she joined in this institute 1994, and this institute was actually, instituted in 1993. So immediately less than 1 year of time of this inception of this institute, she has been working more than 30 years of her service. And I used to jokingly tell her that in 1994, I was in my high school. So, and that's the kind of 30 long, solid professional years she had spent here. And her contributions are actually very long. And we wanted to honor all our well accomplished scientists through a forum like this. What else we can do, scientists, to celebrate achievements of someone 3 decades of time? So this is second in series. There was one happened not couple of months, maybe last month. And it was also kind of an event which was well received. And we wanted to celebrate the success of every single scientist in this way of, bringing out their knowledge and wisdom to the upcoming scientific world. I think you all agree with me, sounds are part of our life. Either you, during your joyous time or happy time, you shout in joy, and then during the sorrow, or maybe not so great time, you still make some noise, but you can easily make out these noises, right? Which is for the joy and which is not for joy, right? And when somebody says that hooray, that means, they have achieved something and so on. So like our human sounds, the ecosystem is also making some noise. And you can only feel if you have the knowledge and wisdom to understand whether the ecosystem is crying or ecosystem is actually in happiness. And through the scientific efforts, I think our team has been doing very wonderfully in the area of understanding the existing ecosystem. I think through the noise or through the acoustics, probably our team would be in a position to tell you whether the ecosystem is crying or in happiness. They have successfully installed the sound measurement system in the Arctic region in dark, thanks to the contribution of the ocean observation systems as well, in association with the other sister institutions of MOES. We have installed the underwater acoustic system in the Arctic region, where we are continuously monitoring. As we speak, it's monitoring now the ecosystem in the area where the icebergs are melting or icebergs are actually breaking. And these are the sounds of the surroundings, probably of the climate change. Could be. So our team has been putting huge amount of professional efforts to understand this. We collect the data, disseminate to the world community to bring out, the awareness, at least, if not immediately the adoption or maybe any other mitigation system being implemented. At least we have to make the community aware of the fact that the ecosystem is in distress. And it is not only that, our team, Ocean Acoustics team, have already demonstrated the large amount of rainfall which go completely unmeasured, unquantified in the open ocean. They have measured now. They are able to quantify the amount of rainfall even in the open ocean. Of course, we also have the system that to be measured on land, the rainfall intensity and so on. But you may be wondering, what is the big deal in measuring the rainfall intensity over the open ocean? It also is in great extent directly influences the ecosystem. It brings a fresh water from the sky, and then you also have the saline water. It brings and mixes the nutrients and so on. So our team has already demonstrated measurements of the sounds of the living species, or it could be man-made anthropogenic influences like vessel movement and so on. And not also very important, last but not the least, the surveillance. I think it also keeps us ahead of our hostile situations, right? I think it's a very important parameter that a country like ours, surrounded by oceans, all three sides, we should be aware of the fact that the hostile ecosystem, if they are actually the hostile environment, if there is a movement of hostile environment, probably we should be the first one to detect it under the water through the surveillance system. There are many things listed out in my mobile as points to be discussed amongst you, but I leave that to the gathered, learned audience here to deliberate. But we have wonderfully developed the acoustic test facility thanks to our ocean acoustic team. It's a long journey, as I understand from Dr. Lata, that the facility had been developed and then slowly we added the features to get recognized not only in the country, but also in the global level. I also been briefed of the fact that the very chief guest of today's function has played a very interesting role in getting this facility recognized in consultation with the very guest of honor of the function today. It is so appropriate to have both of them. I must thank both of them to have kindly agreed to spare their time amongst us in these 2 days of symposium. Obvious that the deliberations probably will give us a small white paper or concept note for the way ahead. And it is not the end. Once the global recognition of the facility is not the end, but it is only the beginning of a new era that we strongly believe that the deliberations and discussions in this 2 days symposium can be brought out into a small report, and probably we can send it across to the ministry to see that such kind of facility should not only be maintained, but should be effectively utilized for its fullest potential. With that quick request, I wish you all the best for the next 2 days of symposium. And thank you so much for coming and assembling. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Now I request Dr. Lata to give an overview of the symposium.
Respected Chief Guest, Padma Shri Dr. Shailesh Naik, Guest of Honor, Professor Venugopalachandra, Professor Balaji Ramakrishnan, Director, NIOT. Distinguished guests, delegates, and staff of NIOT, a very good morning to one and all here. As Director explained now, and with his appreciative words for the ocean acoustics, NIOT has been carrying out focused activities on underwater acoustic metrology and acoustic monitoring of the oceans for the last 2 decades. The state-of-the-art underwater acoustic test facility in NIOT has been recently dedicated as the designated laboratory in underwater acoustics in India by the Honorable Minister of Earth Sciences, Dr. Jitendra Singh. This has been possible only because of the guidance and support of CSIR NPL Delhi. We have signed an MOU with CSIR NPL in this regard, and as part of the MOU, there is a requirement to conduct a symposium to bring researchers, industry experts, stakeholders, and students to shed light on the importance of acoustic metrology for oceans as well as air. And that has been the seed, and thus this symposium has been jointly organized with CSIR NPL on acoustic metrology and acoustic monitoring. We are truly honored to have Dr. Shailesh Naik as the chief guest of the symposium, who has been constantly inspiring us in our ocean acoustics program. I must mention here that as Secretary MOS in 2015, he was pivotal in initiating the discussions with the then Director General of CSIR, Dr. Girish Sahani, which paved the way for our efforts to bring ATF as the designated laboratory in India. Our wholehearted thankfulness to you, sir. Our guest of honor, Professor Venugopal Achanta, Director CSR NPL, has been instrumental in steering it towards becoming DI. The list of eminent speakers and chairs in underwater acoustic sessions of this symposium includes Dr. Atmanan, our former director, who has played a pivotal role in initiating key comparisons for hydrophone calibration. Dr. Ramadas, our former director, who has contributed immensely with his technical expertise in ATF. Dr. Rajendran, our former group head Ocean Acoustics, who was instrumental in establishing ATF. Dr. Venkatesan, former group head Ocean Observation Systems, who has been our guiding force in acoustic monitoring of the oceans. Dr. Dilsha Rajappan, former group head Marine Sensor Systems, who initiated the proposal to set up ATF. Dr. Bishwajit Chakraborty, former emeritus scientist and CSR NIO Goa, who has been steering and motivating us all through our journey. Professor Gopu Pochi, University of Rhode Island, USA. Professor Manel Zakaria, expert in underwater acoustics from France. Professor Monica Agarwal, IIT Delhi. And Dr. Ashokan, who have been collaborating with us for many years. The list of experts in air acoustic sessions includes Dr. Naveen Gar, Dr. Saud Ahmed, Dr. Chitra Gautam from CSR NPL Delhi, Dr. Tamesh Chandran from FCRA Palakkad, Dr. Mohit Verma from CSR SCRC Chennai, and Dr. Rajshekar Uchel from Juice Engineering. The participants of the symposium include delegates from Indian Navy, R&D organizations, academic institutes, and industries. We welcome you all once again. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. I now invite Dr. Malarkudi to introduce our guest of honor, Professor Venugopal Achanta.
It is my privilege to introduce our guest of honor, Professor Venugopal Achanta. He obtained his PhD Physics from Tata Institute of Fundamental Research, Mumbai, and PhD in Electronics from Tokyo University. He is currently the Director of CSIR National Physical Laboratory, Delhi. His research interests are in the application of nanophotonics to single molecule and single photon spectroscopy through light matter interaction in non-perturbative regimes. He has over 150 journal publications. He is a fellow of Optical Society of America and the Indian National Science Academy and an honorary fellow of the Metrology Society of India. He is elected to the International Committee for Weights and Measures, BIPM, in 2022, Commission C2 of International Union of Pure and Applied Physics in 2024, and Executive Committee of Asia Pacific Metrology Program, APMP. He is currently President of Optical Society of India and Vice President of Indian Laser Association, ILA. He is also a member of the Empowered Board of LIGO India and Senate member of IIT Delhi and JNU New Delhi. Thank you, sir.
Is to invite our guest of honor, Professor Venugopal Achanta, Director, CSIR NPL Delhi, to deliver the special address.
Respected Dr. Shailesh Naik, Professor Balaji Ramakrishnan, Dr. Lata, and all the dignitaries here who are participants of this conference, and NIOT family members and my own colleagues from NPL here. So it's a privilege. First, I'd like to thank for giving me this opportunity to come here. And it's I'll take this opportunity to say that like we are minority in the country, right? The NPL is a metrology institute. So people know mostly about NIST or PTB Germany or NPL UK, but NPL National Physical Laboratory of India, people think that like it's a physics laboratory, it's a CSR laboratory. So we come with many hats. So what people don't recognize is that we are equal to NIST in US.
Whatever they do, we also do here, and we can do a lot more. And the recent MOU with NIOT, the joint program which we're doing together for the underwater acoustics, is just one step forward where we can do for the country, how we can work together, recognize each other's expertise, and go forward. So we have now NIOT is the second designated institute in the country. So every country can have one National Metrology Institute, which is NPL for India, and we can have as many designated institutes as possible, depending on the expertise. So other countries have many DIs, but in India, there was only one designated institute, which was BARC by mandate given, so that all the radiation standards are maintained by BARC. But however, they've not fully done their intercomparisons. Their CMCs, what we call the calibration measurement capabilities for the country, they're not yet established in radiation standards. However, NIOT has already done the intercomparisons. Now I say that like we are partners in crimes, in the sense that till now, I came from academia. I came from TAFR and went to NPL. And the metrology community has accepted me and really taught me many, many things. I don't know anything about metrology, but I learned a lot from my colleagues and the international community, who are very welcome with open arms to embrace me and bring me to the community. Right. So the same thing I thought like we should do together. And when I say partner in crime, like, so the one of the main challenges is that it doesn't matter where we go. Even the promotion of the colleagues at NPL, for example, if I want to say that, like, the committee will ask how many publications, what is the impact factor, what is the H index, right? When they say that, like, an intercomparison takes anywhere from 3 to 5 years, people don't realize what is intercomparison. What has it got to do anything with it? They are scientists. They should publish, right? So here, at least we have one more voice in the country where they can talk about intercomparisons, how difficult, how laborious and stringent process it is. It takes a lot of time and effort for those involved. Right. And at the end of it, there's just one plot in a publication where we are also, along with all the participating countries, our names will also be there. In that one publication, there are 1 or 2 or 3 plots which say that, like, okay, your measured value compared to the rest of the other countries' values, this is the value which you're measuring, and this is the error bar. So that is us. The 3 to 5 year work is represented in that, right? So, but there's a lot of effort goes into this. As I say, like, as the director has mentioned, I'll put it in a slightly different way. Like, quality is a journey. The quality is not a destination that we set up this experiment and forever it will work. We have to keep this intercomparison at least once in 10 years done. And at least once in 5 years, we have to let the peer reviewers, the external experts from different countries, they'll come, test our facilities, whether they are properly maintained under the quality infrastructure or not. This all has to be done, whether the quality manual, to the extent that, is the experiment set up properly? Is the measurements done, the analysis done properly, right? And they also check, are there complaints from the customers? How we are resolving these customer complaints? All these things are checked, and finally they'll say that, like, okay, you're doing it properly, you can continue it. So intercomparison is one step. Then the next step is this peer review once in 5 years. This has to get done. So one worry, one concern I always expressed is that, like, Dr. Lata has done extremely well, tremendous. Most of the major work has been done by her in setting things up. But the next step is that, like, we need to continue this. This is not end of it. This is just the beginning, where we have to improve our CMCs, calibration measurement capabilities for the country. So how do we do that? Okay. So this is something which NIOT has to keep in mind, give the priority. So I'm happy that like they're also going for NABL accreditation. So hope this journey of quality will continue. Right. So we'll be partners. We'll be learning from you. We'll be imparting. We'll be helping you wherever we can, and hope this collaboration will continue for a very long time. Right. So I'll just briefly also take this opportunity to let you know like what my colleagues do at NPL. So what we do in collaboration with different ministries, as I said, like so MOES as partnership with NIOT, we are doing this. We are also part of the Antarctica mission in different ways. Like so, Maitri Station was built under the leadership of one of our colleagues, Dr. Sen Gupta. We have the continuous monitoring station there, where it acts like a baseline for our pollution monitoring studies. So those are still maintained by NPL and working continuously, right? So in addition to that, like so we are part of MOEF. So we have set up this Asia's first facility for OSEMs and CAMs, basically for air quality monitoring equipment calibration facilities. This is the first in Asia that's up and running now. Similarly, solar cell calibration facility. This is the 5th facility in the world and the best. So we have intercompared with the other 4, and our facility is the best. So this is something which is again a unique facility. These are important because just imagine such a big country. We are importing so much of environment monitoring equipment, but there was no calibration or certification or testing facility for this equipment. We are just buying this equipment and using them. And we also have read in the newspapers that these equipment which we are importing are designed and suitable for climatic conditions which are much different from in Indian conditions. For example, the humidity, the dust levels and all that. Now we have our own certification scheme where we can test these things, right? And similarly, biomedical equipment. So we have certification and testing facilities now at NPL. With MNRE, we've done this solar cell calibration facility. Just imagine that like our government target is 50 gigawatt installation per year. If 1% error is there in the quantum efficiency of the solar cell, that translates to about 1,000 crores of annual investment. So we are the amount of investment for the 50 gigawatt changes by about 1,000 crores. So the calibration is very, very important for the installations which are carrying it out. So we have the facility now within the country. Waste to wealth, the circular economy is something which we have to take seriously. We have carbon composites. We have different ways in which like how to mitigate the pollutants and reuse of materials. So this is something which we are doing. The first lab in the country, like where we are actually recycle the silicon to 4.9 purity, so that the waste solar panels, which will be there in the next 15, 20 years, in 2 decades, all these new installations are going to release so much of silicon waste into the system. So we have developed a process where we can recycle the silicon so that it can be reused. With the Ministry of Commerce, like we have these BNDs. In my last visit, I mentioned about it. BNDs are Bharatiya Nirdeshak Dravya. These are certified reference materials which are traceable to the National Metrology Institute. So this is now we have complete, almost 85% self-sufficient in water BNDs, water CRMs. So to test the quality of water, we have been importing these certified reference materials, the high purity water samples with specific elements infused in them. So these materials we were importing till 2 years ago. Now about 85% of the Indian requirements are locally made and being supplied by different what we call reference material producers, RMPs. We work with BIS on standards. We do quite a bit of work in materials, metrology, and environmental sciences. I mean, my colleagues are here, so I have to say a little bit about the noise mapping. The noise mapping of Delhi was done in 1960s. So after that first time, and last year they have carried out at 170 locations across Delhi NCR region. The noise mapping has been done. And now how that data is useful for policy and also developing mitigation methodologies. So that's what they have been working on. So they also work on preparing or making materials which are useful for noise mitigation, whether it is for parliament building, new parliament building carpets or metro stations. So we do this testing and certificate and calibration of these materials which are used in various locations. So that we keep doing. So this is all silent work which goes on, nobody knows, because as I mentioned, like we are a single voice. So unless I came here, I don't have a chance to talk about it, and I can't go to every place and say these things. So that's where, like, now I'm thankful to Dr. Lata for setting up these excellent world-class facilities at NIOT and making them available for the country as a national facility. So I hope, like, this intercomparison, the CMCs, the calibration measurement capabilities for the country will continue, and more numbers will come from NIOT in the specific domain of your expertise. So let's work together. Let's work to the goal of self-sufficient India. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for your insightful address. We now come to a significant highlight of the inaugural session, the release of coffee table book and video on ocean acoustics. I request our chief guest to release the coffee table book. It illustrates the progress of ocean acoustics from its inception and takes us through its journey till now. Now, I request our guest of honor to release the video. This video highlights the achievements, accomplishments, and current activities of the Ocean Acoustics Group.
Beneath the ocean's surface, where light fades, sound becomes a guide. Acoustics offers a powerful way to explore this hidden world. The Ocean Acoustics program began during the 11th five-year plan at the National Institute of Ocean Technology under the Ministry of 2 decades. Ocean Acoustics has developed expertise in the area of underwater acoustics for oceanographic and strategic applications. Understanding underwater sound begins with sustained listening. For this purpose, the group developed an indigenous autonomous ambient noise measurement system (ANMS) for passive acoustic monitoring (PAM), and operated successfully in shallow waters and deep waters of the Arabian Sea and the Bay of Bengal for acoustical oceanographic, geoacoustic, and bioacoustic applications. The system is enhanced with real-time capability through RF, GSM, GPRS, INSAT links, and inductive communication. In 2015, the group extended its efforts to the Arctic via the INDAC program, along with the Ocean Observation Systems Group through NCPOR, Goa. And in 2019, the group participated in coordinated Arctic acoustic thermometry experiment in the Central Arctic Ocean jointly with Norway, USA, and other countries. The team continues to carry out annual operations in the Arctic, contributing to long-term climate change studies. The group's passive acoustic monitoring, PAM, helps us decode the predominant underwater noise sources that are due to geophony, biophony, anthrophony, triophony. Long-term Arctic studies showed seasonal shifts. Noise levels rise in summer due to ice melt and drop in winter as sea ice dampens sound. Under Mission Mawsum project, the group is involved in the development of an acoustic rain gauge. Based on the expertise, the group was invited to participate in the International Quiet Ocean Experiment, which is aimed to better characterize ocean sound fields to understand the effect of sound on marine life. Further, the head of the group was deputed to represent India in the UN meeting on anthropogenic underwater noise in New York, USA during 2018. Also, the group has been awarded Serb Vajra faculty scheme in which joint research work with Professor Gopu Arpoti, University of Rhode Island, USA is being carried out. Group has indigenously developed a vector sensor array VSA for underwater acoustic source localization, specifically for surveillance applications. The VSA system has been deployed and successfully operated in the shallow waters of Chennai, and source localization has been validated. The group maintains a state-of-the-art acoustic test facility, ATF, to cater to the needs of calibration and testing of underwater acoustic transducers of NIOT, external research organizations, universities, and industries. The ATF has an acoustic tank, Acoustic Transducer Positioning System, ATPS, for positioning the transducers and any underwater systems. It provides a unique range of facilities and measurement services. Free field calibration of hydrophone sensitivity, low frequency hydrophone calibration, directional response measurement, transducer electrical impedance, power, source level linearity measurement. This facility has been continuously accredited since 2005 by the National Accreditation Board for Testing and Calibration Laboratories (NABL) for hydrophone calibration and testing. As part of its quality control initiatives, ATF participated in key international comparisons. After 2 successful participations in key comparisons, ATF is awarded the status of the designated laboratory in underwater acoustics in India by BIPM, Paris, through CSIR-NPL. Dr. Jitendra Singh, Honorable Minister, Ministry of Earth Sciences, Government of India, dedicated ATF as the designated laboratory to the nation on April 12, 2025. Currently, along with these activities, the team is continuing its efforts towards sound knowledge of the ocean.
Thank you all. I now request Dr. Sanjana to introduce our chief guest, Padma Shri Dr. Shailesh Nayak.
Good morning. It's my pleasure to introduce Padma Shri Dr. Shailesh Nayak, a distinguished scientist specialized in oceanography, geology, and remote sensing. He is currently the director at the National Institute of Advanced Studies, Bangalore. He served as the Secretary, Ministry of Earth Sciences, and chair of the Earth System Science Organization from 2008 to 2015. He was also the former chancellor of the Terry School of Advanced Studies in Delhi. Dr. Nayak is the recipient of the IGU Hari Narain Lifetime Achievement Award in Geosciences, the ISCA Vikram Sarabhai Memorial Award, and the Bhaskara Award conferred by the Indian Society of Remote Sensing. The Government of India honored him with the Civilian Award Padma Shri in the field of science and engineering in 2024. He was awarded Honorary Doctor of Science degrees by Andhra University, Assam University, and Amity University. Dr. Nayak is the president of the Indian Geophysical Union and the Indian Mangrove Society. He also serves as the editor-in-chief of the Journal of Indian Society of Remote Sensing. Dr. Nayak has published about 190 papers in international and national journals. He is also a fellow of the Indian National Science Academy, New Delhi, the Indian Academy of Sciences, Bangalore, the National Academy of Sciences, Allahabad, and the International Society of Photogrammetry and Remote Sensing. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. I am honored to invite our chief guest to deliver the inaugural address.
Professor Venugopal, Dr. Balaji, Dr. Lata, my colleagues, Dr. Atmanan, Ramdas, Raman Murthy, and gentlemen. First of all, I would like to thank Dr. Balaji and Dr. Lata to invite me to participate in this very important conference and also give me an opportunity to interact with all of you as well as share some of my views. It's very important that the acoustic test facility is now designated. And this, I think, is a very important milestone in the history of NIOT. And I must compliment Dr. Lata and her team, and also very ably supported by Dr. Atmanand and Dr. Ramdas. It shows that how the teamwork and excellent leadership can achieve something which is globally recognized. NIOT's main goal is on the ocean. And I think the stewardship of the ocean is very important for India, because the ocean provides food, also facilitates trade through ports and shipping, recreation, and also controls weather and climate. And one of the most important is also critical for the national security. And that is why the government of India has declared the major mission on deep ocean. Mission Director Dr. Raman Murthy is here, and I'm very happy. And this, I think, is done to herald an era of a blue economy. That means ocean-dependent economy. And this is very important because Government of India's Vision 2030 lists ocean-dependent economy or a blue economy as one of the 10 dimensions for the growth. So this is very important for the country as a whole. Now, when you pursue this all developmental activities in the ocean, we have to see that the environment is also preserved and well managed so that we can continue to get benefits in perpetuity. And that is why the UN Sustainable Development Goals includes Goal 14 about the ocean to conserve and sustainably use the resources. The UNESCO and IOC also has declared this decade as Decade of Ocean Science, essentially to provide scientific input to achieve the Sustainable Goal 14. And in India and along the many other countries also launched a second Indian Ocean expedition to advance our knowledge about the ocean. In June, there will be third conference on the ocean, which will be scheduled in Nice, France, essentially again to focus on the conservation and sustainable use of oceans. So you can see that the nationally as well as internationally, the ocean is now gaining tremendous importance. And why is it so? The one reason is that we should increase our capability to forecast ocean and ocean influence processes, like with many things which we have been doing, weather, climate, cyclones, storm surge, sea state, potential fishing grounds, and many others. Because all these have very significant economic, social, and environmental benefits. The second, which is very important, is to survey the exclusive economic zone and the continental shelf, and essentially for the mineral and energy resources, because we have to shift from fossil-based energy to the renewable energy. Now, to do all this too, we need a technology for exploring and harnessing these resources and energy, which will essentially support the blue economy. Now, this development also has to come along with the ecosystem-based management, which allows us to understand the complex interplay between the various ocean processes and the anthropogenic activities. And lastly, to do all this, we need a very robust observing system so that we get the accurate and reliable data in real time. Now, in this regard, we continuously have to see that how the new observations or new type of observations we can make, which can provide more accurate information about the ocean environment so that we can manage it much better. Also, we can understand the importance of the ecosystem and the productivity. Dr. Balaji very well explained about the necessity to maintain about the ecosystem. Now, whatever advances we are making in the ocean science is essentially because of the technological innovations. We need to make various improvement in our understanding about the bioresources, the productivity. And one of the parameters of understanding this is the acoustics. This allows us the ocean noise, which should be measured and understood that why it is happening, where it is happening, and what impacts it would have on wildlife, ecosystem, and many other systems. As we have seen that NIOT has built many systems, like for the ambient noise measurements to various things in Arctic, to deep sea, to shallow sea, the variety of things. And I think this has helped our understanding about the ice dynamics in Arctic, the many oceanographic applications, and also the surveillance in the shallow area, which has a lot of strategic importance. The passive system also have been built to understand the marine ecosystem. And I understand that the repository of all different noises is also under development, so which is very important. Now, what we do today is the underwater hydrophones we use either moved or dangled from a ship of a surface or mounted on a large ships, which sometimes may scare away the marine animals. I would like to make a suggestion that whether we can use the gliders to understand the ecosystem better, because they move very slowly, almost a kilometer per hour or so. So its glide movement will allow it to sneak through the all marine ecosystems and to pick up the ambient noises. This could be almost like a non-invasive kind of a technology. And since INCOIS has been very active in the LiDAR, I think NIOT INCOIS can collaborate and see that how best we can make use of this into the understanding of the marine ecosystem. At the same time, the information or data processing technologies also has to advance. Because the alone measurement is not going to help. We should parallelly keep our eyes open to the different data processing technologies, which is happening both mathematical and computational techniques, which will definitely help much more for understanding the various ocean sciences. Also, there are ways and means to use different technologies to derive the information of a specific area and then try to merge those things to understand it better. I think we need to have the new tools developed along with the information technology as well as the various visualization technology, so that many issues which we were not able to understand earlier, that we can find out. And I'm sure that the inherent and unique capabilities of each of the technology and different tools, so that instead of relying on a singular technology, we can have multiple technologies to resolve this problem. I'm sure that many of this thing will be discussed in these 2 days. There are various experts who have come to discuss about what is the likely state of the art in this. And it would be very productive and fruitful. And I support Dr. Balaji's suggestion that a white paper can come up, which can provide a direction for the next time future. In the end, I would like to again compliment the excellent team at on Ocean Acoustic, led by Dr. Lata and all his colleagues for the excellent work done. And I'm sure that in future, we will see many more new laurels coming to NIOT in this area. With this few words, I'm very happy to inaugurate this conference. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, for your inspiring speech. I request the Director NIOT to felicitate Dr. Shailesh Nayak with a shawl and memento. Again, I request the Director NIOT to felicitate Professor Venugopal Achanta with a shawl and memento. Thank you, sir. I now invite Dr. Malarkodi to propose the vote of thanks.
I feel honored and privileged to get this opportunity to propose vote of thanks on this special occasion. I would like to thank all the distinguished delegates who blessed us with their presence. On behalf of the organizing committee, I convey my heartfelt thankfulness to our esteemed chief guest, Padma Shri, Dr. Shailesh Nayak, Director NAS, and former Secretary MOES for gracing the occasion amidst his busy schedule. Sir, you have been a pillar of support for our program in our tenure as secretary, and we are extremely thankful. NIOT is very much indebted to Professor Venugopal Achanta for his presence and his extensive support for acoustic test facility to becoming the designated laboratory in underwater acoustics in India. I take this opportunity to thank Dr. Naveen Garg, Dr. Saud Ahmed, CSIR NPL for their support. My sincere thanks to our beloved director, Professor Balaji Ramakrishnan, for his encouragement and support in organizing this symposium at NIOT. We gratefully acknowledge the support from our ministry and our special thanks to Secretary Dr. M. Ravichandran and Senior Scientist Dr. Vijay Kumar. We are very thankful to Professor Ravindran, our founder director, and all former directors for their guidance in our endeavors. Our profound thanks to former directors Dr. M.A. Atmanand and Dr. G.A. Ramadas and former group heads Dr. V. Rajendran, Dr. R. Venkateshan, Dr. Dilsha Rajapan, former emeritus scientist CSIR NIO, Dr. Bishwajit Chakravarti, Professor Gopupoti, University of Rhode Island, USA, and Professor Manel Zakaria from France, who always stand by us and motivate us. At this juncture, I would like to thank the speakers, Professor Monica Agarwal from IIT Delhi, Dr. Tamil Chandran from FCRA Palakkad, Dr. Mohit Verma from CSIR SCRC Chennai, Dr. Chitra Gautam, CSIR NPL, Dr. M. Ashokan from MOES, Mr. Raj Shekhar from Jost Engineering Pune, and delegates from Indian Navy, industries, academic institutes, and research organization. We have been fortunate enough to be backed by our admin, purchase, finance, estate, transport, and computer divisions. We are extremely thankful to the organizing committee for their unstinting support. Without you, this event is not possible. We thank each and everyone whose contributions have made this event a successful one. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for graciously acknowledging the contributions of all those who made this event a success. This concludes the inaugural session. We request everyone to kindly assemble in front of this auditorium for a group photo. After group photo, please join us for high tea at Manthan Hall. The next technical session will begin at 11:15 a.m. in this hall. Thank you very much all.